Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lebanon, and I wanted to discuss with you guys today the best 12 songs by the band Kamelot. Kamelot being an amazing band that's been just influencing on the metal scene for so long. They've literally been so influential that other bands have come along and actually named themselves after certain albums or tracks by the band. They've tackled amazing things, been highly touted in the underground metal community. Never really gotten mainstream popularity, but that's probably a good thing because it would have just decimated the overall quality of the songs and such. This is a band that I've been uniquely passionate about for a long time. They're a band that has just a very strong vocal lead, almost symphony style quality in both of their singers throughout their history. Obviously, they had a third one, but that third one didn't count because it was back in their early albums that really weren't good at all, at least in my opinion. But the point is that this band has been so definitive in posturing grand vocals and grand themes throughout that have really just captivated audiences and personally made me a huge fan. This is a band that I found one track of theirs off of while I was listening to Sirius XM satellite radio one year, and I immediately heard this one song and had to go and research everything and just fell in love. And this is Kamelot, guys. I want to go over, like I said, their best 12 songs in my own opinion. If you hate what I'm saying, man, go eat a Taco Bell. I really don't care. Let's talk about frequent themes of Kamelot. Camelot's music has so many different themes that are throughout the presence of it, but in so many ways, these six things stand out in so many of their tracks. We have doubting faith, feeling forgotten, feeling like God has left you, feeling like you are going to be conquered and not going to be able to hold up against things. We also have in the other side of that is holding on to your faith or holding on to what little faith you have at that point in time, whether it be faith in God, faith in your lover, faith in yourself. You have that type of perseverance going on in many of their songs. That's why it's a power metal band. It's you're gonna have that on there. You also have doomed love and unrequited love going on quite often. Situations where there's just this awkward tension. There's this feeling of why don't you? Where is the love? Where is the love? You have that, and then also you have themes of love that is just doomed to fail from the start, and that's perfectly okay, and that gives us just this beautiful balance. And the best part about it is that what makes Camelot a big fan, a band that I'm a big fan of, is the fact that they have that going on. So often in power metal or symphonic metal, it turns into this endless epic quest to go fight a dragon or this endless epic quest to conquer something. But there's real emotions that you feel every day that are lost, and that's something that happens very frequently for me when I'm listening to individual tracks of power metal bands. Is that they're missing something. They're missing these elements of our everyday life, and that does not happen with Camelot. Camelot has their individual tracks are very rooted in what you actually would see in everyday individual life. Not only that, you see standing firm in fear, being able to plant yourself and say that, yeah, I am afraid, I am terrified, but I'm going to push through. And then, of course, self-power. Again, these are things that you see in power metal a lot, but what makes me so in love with this band is the fact that they're able to vocalize things a little bit stronger, use their breath as a instrument many times, and more importantly, actually have real emotions that you would feel on a day in, day out basis as a point of many of their songs, which just adds to the overall beauty of their songwriting. Things that make this tough to grade, right? Things that made this tough to grade. Grading on an individual track is very difficult with Camelot because obviously two of their albums are written as a collective unit of concept, right? They had the Goth's Faust album, basically. That was from Epica all the way through the Black Halo. That was a concept of those two. And it's very tough to grade those songs from those two albums on an individual basis. And then more importantly, then you have the epics that go on Poetry for the Poison, and they're just, it's very difficult to grade on an individual track. Also, even trickier is if you listen to them, to them, you listen to Kamelot. If you look at 2005's Black Halo, the Black Halo had immensely higher quality of recording. And you can tell that after Epica they finally got into a really high quality studio, or something changed to where all of a sudden they're recording on a much higher quality. The vocals are really brought forward in the music, whereas in the past the vocals were kind of in conflict with the music. Even though they weren't, it just felt like the vocals weren't actually where they needed to be as for where they should stand on the music's track. And to be honest with you, I believe that Epica, Karma, and the Fourth Legacy, if those, I want those albums to be remastered, especially now that Roy Khan's back with the band. Those albums, if remastered, I think would really help out a lot of the tracks. Very much like Five Magics by Megadeth was helped out by a remastering because of just the way that the track was presented. And then, of course, there's two tracks that are really common in Kamelot's music. That is power epics and grand hall tracks. So you have these epic, just grandiose fighting the quest songs, and then you have these grand hall symphony tracks that you would hear at a funeral, or hear at a wedding reception, or hear your child singing at like the audition for like some amazing symphony or opera gig or whatnot. And it's questionable because do you focus this list solely on power epics, grand hall tracks, or mix them? And obviously I'm going to mix them, which is tough. But then the hardest thing of all is the fact that we have Tommy versus Roy. Now, the best part about Kamelot for me is that it's very easy in comparison to what you might think, because of the fact that Tommy did so well in trying to replicate what Roy was. So often when you change singers, you have new singer goes, well, I'm just going to go ahead and take over and try to act like, me. I'm going to bring me to this and my sound. Where with Kamelot, really Tommy just came in and tried to be Roy. And that's not bad. I don't mean that as a bad way or saying that Tommy lacks persona or presence or whatnot. When Tommy came in, he very much was Roy. And if you were somebody who really was not familiar with the band at all, you might not even notice that it's a different vocalist. And I'm being serious. Now, if you hate me in the comment section, that's totally okay. But there's very similar range, similar styling, at least what's recorded between Roy and Tommy on the albums. And that's what's very helpful, I think, for keeping their style consistent. So let's get this kicked off. Top 12. And by the way, there will be an accompanying playlist below. So number 12 is Under Gray Skies. This is actually a Tommy track off of the 2015 album Haven. Many of you guys are probably going to look at me like, why the hell is this one in your top 12? Well, again, remember, we're judging on individual tracks. Under Gray Skies is a beautiful ballad, which has the lead singer of Xandria on this track. And it has just one of the most beautiful ballad lyrics that you found on this. And this is something that you could hear in a church. This is something that you probably could play in a church where, you may call me a dreamer, you may call me a fool, just a blue-eyed believer in you. And I'd die for that someone. Please tell me why, but please. I mean, just that chorus is just sexy, sensual, peaceful, and beautiful. And the switch off between the Xandria singer and Tommy just goes over and over again throughout the song, and it's just a beautiful ballad. And that's just one thing about power metal groups, is that they have to have the combination of epics and ballads. And this is a great ballad, worthy of anything. March of Mephisto. This is a really fun song. It features Shagrath from Dimmu Borgir. And it's the opening track to the 2005 Black Halo, which is the follow-up album and the finishing album of the Goth Faust. This is basically a song where Shagrath is coming on, and he is Mephisto incarnate, trying to basically lure Ariel deeper into the pits of despair with what he's done with his bad choices. And this song just has an amazing guitar riff, a presence, and really a dark kind of doom march going on. It's very a doom and gloom kind of march, and it opens up this album with such power and presence that really, I don't know how you could get tired of this. It's dark, it's captivating, it holds your attention, it keeps you going and going and going. And this is one of the reasons why I love this track so very much. I am the edge of the world. I'm not even going to go into it, but just you'll feel the march in this one. It's a marching tone. Don't You Cry off of 2001's Karma album. This is a beautiful song that you would just play to your dying lover, play to your dying friend. It's peaceful, it's serene, it's something that can fit into any playlist, and that's why I put it so high up on here. It's because it can fit into anyone's playlist for almost anything and just be a beautiful, somber, relaxing, wipe away the tears kind of song amidst all the pain that's going on in your life, because that is a thing. It happens. And that's one thing that Kamelot does so well, is mixing up genres and being able to flow into a normal playlist. Next up on the list is number 9 is Liar Liar featuring Alicia White-Gluz, which, when she came into this song, I was floored at her ability to come into this song with the script, with the growling vocals, and then be able to finish up the track with her clean vocals midway through, and basically showcase that there can still be epics deep into the Tommy territory. 2012's album was the first album that had Tommy on there. That album was the first one that featured Tommy, had his own thing going on. The Silverthorn album of 2012. And then with Haven was the first album that clearly you could see was after the Roy time. And so in a lot of ways, you could say that Silverthorn was just a continuation of Roy, with a lot of, whatever he was involved in with the songwriting. But then you saw Haven, and Haven, being so far down the road, you could no longer, say, oh, this is Roy's stuff that just got brought over. And Tommy still brought it strong on this track. He still brought it strong on this track, giving us that power epic without being a Roy, which is, in my opinion, one of my favorite things about this track. It really, really gravitated and switched off on the male and female vocals very, very well. That's one of the things that Kamelot does very well, is being confident to bring in female guest vocalists to add that extra something to the music. And Alicia White-Gluz does it so well on this track. Love it. Or Alyssa. I always get Alicia and Alyssa spelling mixed up, so apologies right there, guys. Next up on there is Karma. Karma just has that just really, really just classic power metal kind of vibe to it. It's got an amazing solo, amazing keyboard instrumentation on this track. Only reason that's holding this track back, in my opinion, from being higher on this list is simply that Karma suffers from a lot of the issues that all tracks from Epica and earlier suffer from, which is the fact that they just have a lower recording quality. That's why Don't You Cry is actually able to be higher on this list than it probably should be, because whenever you're doing a ballad doesn't necessarily need to have the focus as strict when it comes to the recording studio, whereas an epic like Karma needs to have a much, much higher level of attention, because there's so many different instrumentations and sounds and notes switching back and forth. And when you have that in Karma, it comes together beautifully, but the lyrics are amazing. But where they put and arrange the engineering, the sound and engineering of the album is held back a little bit because of where they missed opportunities to put Roy's voice a little bit stronger in presence. That's the only reason why Karma's not higher on this list. Number 7 is Sacrimony, Angel of Afterlife. This was the first single that was released with Tommy replacing Roy. And that's probably one of the reasons why I put it so high on this list, because I was so scared whenever Roy got replaced. He went away. I think there was rumors of cancer, all that stuff. But whenever Roy left, we were so scared. And then Angel of Afterlife comes out, featuring the female lead singer of Amaranth, and holy cow, it hit really strong. Sing for Me, Angel of Afterlife, and then it just it was about 5 minutes long, kept everything nice and concise, while at the same time giving us some real feels and presentation. It mixed up and showed that breath can still be an instrument for us, and just had a really powerful vibe, something that was missing on the previous album, which was Poetry for the Poisoned, which was honestly, in my opinion, from Fourth Legacy onward with Roy, the worst album. And they did a great job of coming back with it with this album, Silverthorn, especially with Sacrimony. Number 6, Descent of the Archangel. Just the fact of how it starts off, and then you feel the whispering vocals from Roy as he's playing Mephisto in this part, revealing himself to Ariel in this poetry. It's just a beautiful, powerful ballad, one that needs to be listened to more and more often. I love this track. I'm probably going to put it on immediately after this is over. Sorry. Number 5, Center of the Universe, the other big epic track from this album. Granted, all of the tracks from Epica are amazing. The tricky part with Epica is that it has the same issue for me. I could make this entire list and have it just be Epica and Black Halo, right? The tricky part for me is that with those two, I have to look at it as an individual track, which makes it so difficult. When it comes down to it, Center of the Universe just had amazing keyboards, really, really just beautiful piano arrangements, and the guitar solo right in the middle just totally grips you and takes you back. If Center of the Universe and Descent of the Archangel, if they were ever remastered at the Epica album, these two tracks would be very difficult for me to leave out of the top, like number 1 spot, because of just how beautiful they are. And it's only really, in my opinion, the lower quality of recording that keeps them held back, in my opinion. Number 4 is a biased pick for me. This one is the first track that I ever heard from Kamelot. It was the one that made me research it. It has Simone Simmons of Epica on this album, on this track, and it is just beautiful. Just that somewhere in time I will find you and haunt you again. The song deals with very much that forlorn and doomed love. Our love is doomed, our love is gone, but I will find you again. And it's just that it's a paced track that doesn't have an overpowering. It's an epic track without being super gallopy speed, without being super just gone off into the woods. The Haunting is an amazing track, and one that is an amazing track to get somebody interested in this band. In my opinion, if you're ever going to try to get somebody interested in the band, this is probably a great place to start with The Haunting. Sadly, though, only number 4 on this list because the top 3 are just powerful songs. Number 3 is Abandoned. Okay? Whenever a track on a power metal album starts off with a beautiful piano riff, and then just goes into questioning of faith, and the whole entire song is about questioning of faith. This is not only an amazing track because of its placement on the Black Halo album, which is the second album of the Faust epic, but more importantly, this is a track that when you listen to it from an individual standpoint, you find that this is a person who is feeling just completely forlorn and forgotten by God, and he's confused. He's like, I stuck with you. And it goes into added vocals in the midway through the track. I believe that's Simone Simmons in the background on this one, with the "Why, oh, why, my God above, have you abandoned me in my sobriety behind the old facade? I'm your bewildered child, so take me across the river." Sorry. Beautiful track. I know I suck at singing, by the way, so forgive me. I'm trying to just help you picture the vibe of the track. This one it's a slow-paced ballad of questioning God and asking him for guidance, asking him, where fuck are you? And it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. Number 2 is I Love You to Death, or Love You to Death. This one is a power epic about someone's dying love. And I love, without a doubt, the story behind the track, because this does have a story behind it, and it's an individual song story that is comprised in only this one track, which makes it that much better, because you can judge it on an individual track basis rather than judging it on the course of the entire album, like all the stuff from Black Halo, all the stuff from Epica. You can just judge it on an individual track. And that chorus of, I will always be with you, I'm the anchor of your sorrow. There's no end to what I will do because I love you. I love you to death. And I just love that, man. It just gets you so hard in the nuts, man. It just makes you swell up and just feel like, yes, we can conquer death. We can find a way to stop this for you. And even if you do die, I still love you. It's a great track. One that is just so gripping and symphonic in its presentation. And the Ghost Opera album was very symphonic in its presentation. And that's why it's one of the best albums there is. Definitely a great, great album. However, the number 1 track is Black Halo. The Black Halo itself, off the Black Halo track, is that song. It's actually just... And every lyric of this track is just power. This is the song that you just go and slay dragons to, right? It's a power metal, just defying epic. And it's a power metal epic about fighting the darkness or fighting Satan, essentially. So how much better could it get? Darkness, the chorus, darkness come the night. I have no fear of what you hold. Darkness come alive. You are the stories of what's been told. And then, of course, it just comes back to it, later on. And then, it's all about, self-power and preservation and prevalence of your own self. It is one of those songs that you can work out to, that you can go punch hookers to, whatever you need to do. Don't go punch hookers. This is that song, though, that is just pure power. It is a pure power album track, and easily my favorite track ever by Kamelot. Please give a song like 30 listens, and you will just be gripped by its presentation. Another big reason why it ranks so high for me is that so often with power metal, a track can easily become a 20-minute track, easily become a 10-minute track, a 7-minute track, a 6-minute track. This is only a 4-minute track, and it is still able to present powerful, gripping lyrics that aren't so long in their lyrical format to where you get lost in the meaning. The meaning is very obvious. The meaning is very forward. It includes a Gregorian chant midway through, like on the breakdown. There's a Gregorian chant followed by an epic drum beat following behind it, and then of course leading into a beautiful guitar solo of power, of preservation, of strength. And that is why this is easily the best track for Kamelot. But what tracks are your favorites? Please, if you're arguing with anything I'm thinking of, please listen to the playlist below. That's listed in the link below. You will love these tracks. If you have any new friends to Kamelot, have them listen to these tracks, and you'll have a new fan with you for the next time that they come around to play in concert. Anyway, guys, I've had a great time. See you next time. Peace.